to another brand new video, and as you can see, we're parked just in front of this ferry behind me, and that's because we're heading towards the largest and second most inhabited island of the UK, which is none other than the Isle of Wight. I'm very excited because the Isle of Wight seems like a very interesting place, so let's get into it.
Our ferry was docked at Southampton, a port city that has one of the largest populations in southern England. When we first entered the ferry, we were surprised at how many cars were able to fit onto it, especially because we knew that it was much smaller than the regular ferries. However, there were still around 5 levels to this ferry, with the top 3 being lounging areas that had seats facing towards the windows for those who wanted a good view, a gift shop with items ranging from souvenirs to board games, and also a few tables along with a cafe. There was also an outside compartment where people were filming the clear turquoise water, which was also very windy. As we travelled through the Solent, which is a strait between the Isle of Wight and Great Britain, we passed Portsmouth, the most densely populated city in the UK, and also the birthplace of a few familiar faces, such as author Charles Dickens. Whilst we were on the ferry, me and my mum got a little peckish, so we bought a latte, a hot chocolate, a chocolate cookie and a tiffin. After around 1 hour, we finally arrived at our destination, the Isle of Wight. The Isle of Wight is around half the size of Singapore and is an English county in the English Channel. It is well known for its mild climate, coastal scenery, its landscapes and well-preserved wildlife, cliffs and dinosaur fossils. Before we knew it, within half an hour we had already travelled across the whole island to Sandown, where we arrived at our hotel, the Sandringham Hotel. This hotel was especially nice because, like our hotel in Blackpool, it was opposite the beach. When we went to our room, we were lucky enough to have a balcony that faced the sea, and whenever we opened the door to the balcony, our room would always be hit with a cool breeze. Once we had sorted out our luggage and regained our energy that was lost from the long car ride, we quickly headed to the beach that was opposite us. I got there as fast as I could as I wanted to jump into the seawater. However, misfortune struck as I continuously shivered from the freezing cold water. I was not expecting it to be that cold, especially during the heat. Luckily for us, our hotel had a big swimming pool and a hot tub. Since we were also the only people there, I was able to have the whole pool to myself. I had a lot of fun in the pool and I was doing a lot of things, from swimming, jumping into the pool and diving to the bottom. After we had our dinner, we went on a small walk around the beach. As we did, we came across the Sandown Pier and decided to go and look at all the activities that were inside. The construction of the Sandown Pier originally started back in 1876 and was opened on the 29th of May 1878. Construction to extend the pier then started in 1894, but was slightly hindered by a storm that damaged the new works. The Sandown Pier was eventually reopened on the 12th of January 1895. The pier was taken over the Sandown Urban District Council in 1918. The pier has a range of indoor amenities at the landward end and an outdoor funfair and landing stage at the seaward end. There are cafes, a children's play area, an amusement arcade, bowling and an indoor crazy golf course. As we went outside, we noticed that a few of the kids' rides had many nostalgic characters that I grew up with, such as the Teletubbies and the Tweenies, which sent me back through memory lane. We also played a few games as we went through the arcade. To start off, I wanted to test out how strong my arms really were. We found a machine that if you punched could determine the amount of power you applied in one punch. I had also seen other people do this and I thought I could give it a shot. However, I did not know how to properly do it, so I couldn't get to my potential, only getting up to around 450. I was a little disappointed, but then again, it was my first ever try, so I think once I get the technique I would be able to achieve a higher score. Afterwards, me and my dad played a game of basketball together where you had to shoot into the hoop as many times as you could so that you could get the score to pass before the time ran out. We actually did pretty good in my opinion, as we did multiplayer, and compared to my performance at the punching machine, I was doing far better this time, at one point getting a shooting streak of 5, which I am proud of. Each level got increasingly harder, but together we were unfazed by the difficulty of each level. It was like we were unstoppable. Finally, we played a Pac-Man version of air hockey, and by doing so, we went from working together to working against each other. This version of air hockey was a bit different to the regular game, as once someone scored against their opponent once, a whole bunch of tokens would be released, in which you would have to shoot as many of them into the other goal, whilst also simultaneously preventing the tokens from entering your goal. I was the one who initially scored into my dad's goal, but when all of the tokens were released, we were slightly taken by surprise. It took us a few seconds before we focused as much as we could and carried on with the game. Whilst we were walking around earlier on, I noticed 2 people playing the same game as us, and only 1 shower of tokens appeared in their game. However, we were taken by more surprise as another shower of tokens came upon us. We struggled a lot as we tried to keep up, but in the end, I successfully won against my dad. Thank you for watching the first video of my Isle of Wight series. If you enjoyed it, please do make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one.